You can tackle all your NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We heard Myles Garrett's comments on Monday. Joel Bitonio asked if he also needed to see some sort of contingency plan from the Browns in 2025 to stick around. Bitonio said he doesn't want to be traded. He'll retire a Brown no matter what. It's just a matter of when. So Mary Kay asked him yesterday, just like with Myles, do you need to see some sort of plan in place from this organization so they can contend next year to help make your decision? Here's what Joel Bitonio said in response to that.
Yeah, I want to, the goal now, like you're in year 11, year 12, you want to try and win games. Like, it's hard to go out there and go have 3 wins right now. Like, that's been tough. Like, it's tough on your body. Like, you just don't feel as good on Monday when you're losing games. So it's part of the process, and you'd love to hear what the plan is, going forward and kind of see where we're at, see how much winning you can do. I don't know specifically with Joe Thomas, but he was like in the start/middle of a rebuild when he was retiring, and I don't know if that played a factor or if he was just done anyway. But you see that sometimes with guys where it's like, what do they have, coming back and stuff like that. But that's all stuff I'm going to worry about in the off season. Right now, I got a game to play, and we gotta lock in because they have some good players up front.
So not exactly word for word the same as Myles, but the same sentiment. It's Myles. It is Joel. We heard Denzel say he's not important enough to see the Browns' plans, so he'll be looking over Myles' shoulder when they show him. What do you make of the Browns' arguably 3 biggest veteran stars, not named Nick Chubb, he's not healthy right now, but the 3 current guys still playing, all kind of echoing the similar sentiment to what Myles said last week?
I mean, guys, I think it's par for the course. This is what happens when you play on bad teams. Like, I haven't played in the NFL, but, when I was in college, we went 1-10 one year, and I just saw I was a freshman, and the rest of the people that on the team were seniors and veterans, right? And so, like, after my redshirt year, I saw the way that we looked when we won 8 games. And then we go to the next year, we have a coaching change, we go 1-10. And I just remember being out there, and I just remember what business decisions started to look like. Because it's like, you have structure, you got some sort of, the leadership. Guys had everybody returning, everybody was coming back. And then after you went like 1-6, you start to see dusting people in the workforce.
Yeah.
You start seeing people like, cats stop lifting. People got this.
Those like optional lifts on a Tuesday, man.
Them civilian bodies was alive and well. People was like, yeah, I got to get in a suit jacket, especially you play for a MAC team. You ain't going to the league. Cats just checked smooth out. It wasn't no pro day. It was like cats was just like carrying more books. I'm like, dang. When you start losing and it's cold outside,
it's the worst.
It's the worst feeling in the world, fellas. It just is.
It's just depressing. And then imagine trying to tackle somebody when it's that cold outside. But no, in all seriousness, to Joel's point, well served. He deserves to win. He's been here for damn near a decade, right? Mm-hmm. So he deserves to be on a winning team. It's a good comparison to Joe Thomas. Like Joel Bitonio, probably not a Hall of Famer, but one of the best Browns offensive linemen ever. Mm-hmm. I think his way of going about it was a little more, I don't know, he just, Myles can say whatever the hell he wants. He's Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. He can be the guy that can say, he can pound his chest all he wants. He's the dude. He's going to the Hall of Fame one day. Joel Bitonio's more, and also it's offensive lineman versus a pass rusher. So I get it though. These guys every single day come to work, and when you don't win, it is the most miserable experience. I've never been on teams as bad as the Browns, but I was on a couple of bad teams, teams that were under 500, 7-9, in those Decembers,
4-12,
Sundays or 4-12. Yeah, I mean those Sundays and Mondays suck. And the Tuesdays suck. It's brutal, and eventually, and I hate to say it, you become a loser.
Yeah.
You take on loser characteristics, not because you're a loser person, but it's impossible not to. We're human beings.
You start going to the drills, you start tapping your dude. Hey, take it easy, bro.
That's called brother-in-law.
That was a long time ago.
It's our brother-in-law a little bit more.
Hey, come on, man. You coming out the gates too fast right now. You fresh.
Hey, man,
today.
listen, you know, hey, let's get a good engage.
right here.
Then we lock
That's
in.
a fact right there. We're going to get a good pop, and you know what? We just going to run our feet a little bit, but not too hard. You know what I'm saying?
And it's the equal amount.
Make sure you line up with me so we know it's time to go. We already made up our mind what we owe.
No one's winning the drill.
Yeah, no, we go. It's a draw. Listen, it's a shame when I listen to these clips and listen to Joel, Myles, and Denzel. To me, it's a shame that this is where we at. Like it really is. You know, you think about last year, just the season that they had, and I really was drinking the Kool-Aid. Like I really was on some like, you know what? They finally figured it out. You know, having Jim Schwartz come in and bringing that aggressiveness. You seen they had a different swag about themselves, not just the defense, but that entire team just had a different confidence about the way they went out on Sundays. And I knew coming into this season, it'd be kind of tricky because last year they kind of crept up on people. You know, when last year it was like, oh, it's the Browns, you know, like it's the Browns, same old Browns. Like, we're gonna go out there, blah blah blah. And the Browns went out there and was hitting people in the mouth. Mm-hmm. This year, it was like the league was on notice. Like, hey, you seen what they was on last year, so you know what to expect from them this year. And they just didn't respond the same way. And it's crazy that you make some staff changes on offense, and your offense comes out and looks like this. And due to the fact that your offense looks like this, like people can say what they want to say, and I'll be the first to tell you as a defensive player, yes, my job is to go out there and get stops. And all of us, we all went out there and our thing was get stops. They don't score, they don't win. But I won't lie to you, when you see your offense continue to go 3 and out, it does get to you. Like, you just be like, dude, we just got off the field. Like, you can't give me one first down.
And messes with
mess
with your psyche.
So, like, I see why, like, the defense kind of took a step back this year.
Finger pointing starts.
Yeah, like, I see why the defense took a step back this year, but, like, the fact that we are at the point now to where you so handicapped to where, like, your players is like, and they doing right. I'll never forget my last year in in San Fran. Sherm was like, I'm about to go right upstairs and I'm going to talk to John. And he got to show me the plan, or I'm asking for my release. Because we was like, I can't remember what we was our last year, but we weren't good. And he was like, I need to know the plan. So that was the first time I heard. So when I hear Myles say that, it made me think of Sherm said, because, like, I think the very next year they went to the Super Bowl. So, like, the difference is I don't know what they gonna tell him. Like, I've been sitting here for literally since Myles said that last Friday. I've been trying to figure out a way, like, to what will Andrew say to Myles that he gonna be like, this is what we gonna do in this offseason. Boom, 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 and we gonna be better because of this. Like, what can you say with no money?
And and I think the biggest one is, guys, we didn't all play it on teams where it hasn't necessarily been like the team is like super bad, like you're bad everywhere, because then you can understand it. Like, yeah, offense ain't no good. We don't got receivers, or we need more playmakers, or we just shot up front. What they talking about the plan is, they're like, no. What's up with this quarterback? No. We didn't all play with like quarterbacks where it's just like, and it's a thing. It's like an innate sense, right? It's one of them things where we talk about if you got kids. If you lose your kid in the mall, every parent that had that sinking feeling. We've all started quarterbacks who it don't matter what's going to happen in the game, that dude is going to find you a way to lose this game. and it's the worst feeling in the world.
And we all, in our mind, have a name right here.
Right, and it's just a guy that pops up from high
I'm not
school
gonna
to
say-
college, and we're not going to say
And
it.
I've got a name right now that I'm not going to say.
We're not gonna
because
say it.
somehow it will get back to that person.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Like, and they know it.
They still know. They have to,
To
they have
this
to,
day.
they have to live with it.
They know they screwed such and such year up, and they know what their shortcomings were.
They know that they don't want the ball down
At all.
down 5 in the fourth quarter.
at all.
But the crazy thing is, it's like so many players regress this season. Like, to me, the only player that had a good is Jerry. It's Jeudy. That's it. Like, outside of Jeudy, Myles do what he do and Denzel do what he do. But outside of them three names,
Do you guys think like it's because he's when you're new, like when you guys go, you've been on new teams where you play in the league and you're like, okay, I was here for a couple of years, got to know people, but there's a new sense of urgency when you're new and you're a free agent and you're somewhere. Does that kind of lead to you thinking that's why Jerry Jeudy had a breakout year because he had something to prove and he was new?
I think that the fact that I think Jerry Jeudy, the reason he played so well this year is because in his mind, once he got traded for Denver, he was thinking to himself, look, the Browns took a chance on me to get me out of Denver because I didn't want to be there no more. And they paid me before I stepped foot on the field.
Sight unseen.
So, like, I owe them. Like, that, they gave me the bag that I kind of wanted.
Yeah.
And they got me out of the situation. So, I kind of owe them to go as hard as I can. Plus, I need to prove to the Mark Slayers of the world and all the people that said the Steve Smiths of the world that I ain't who y'all think I am. Like, it really was the situation in Denver. So, I think that's why he went out and had the season he had. And on top of that, you knew that Kevin, Ken, and probably from the top down, like, get number 3 the ball. We got to justify us paying him this contract. But in the midst of doing those things, David Njoku was hurt, and he took a step back. The offensive line took a step back. Nick Chubb never got back to who he was supposed to be. The quarterback situation was abysmal. Then you flip it to the defensive side of the ball. Give me somebody that was productive. Mike Hall as of lately. I even give you Isaiah McGuire. He got his little moments here and there. Myles, Denzel, and those two names.
That's it.
JOK, we lost our second best defense, third best defensive player. Some people call him the most important, JOK, which we don't even know if he'll ever come back.
Mary Kay just tweeted about JOK.
What'd she say?
Browns linebacker coach Jason Tarver said JOK neck stays involved by texting the linebacker thread all the time, offering tips to younger linebackers.
Well, that's not
Quote, we're all rooting for him as he travels to different doctors around the country, trying to get everything he needs in his recovery. I feel worse and worse.
I was about to say that doesn't sound
great.
So you telling me right now there has not been a diagnosis? He's still going around trying to get different opinions because whatever the diagnosis was, he didn't want to hear it.
I'm just reading what Mary Kay tweeted there.
So he trying to go find somebody that can come up with an answer.
He's a pretty smart guy. I'm guessing that he wants to see every expert he can before he makes a decision on his health for his long term. Don't you think?
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel
about his chances coming back.
I don't know that it changes my opinion of it. I think that he's just doing his due diligence here, and why would you not? Especially this day and age. I mean, you see these dudes.
Well, usually,
and you're an ex-player. I'm an ex-player.
Well, usually how it works is the team's gonna give you the diagnosis, and then you're gonna go find out who's the best doctor in that area. And you're gonna go see him and get that diagnosis.
Well, there's always going to be a doctor that's probably going to give you a better outlook. I agree with that. Better, so that's great, but you also want to know, like, worst case, like what's going to happen here. Like, I'm sure there's a doctor that says you'll be fine, you can play. But they're like, there is this risk. Well, then I want to go talk to the 6 more experts.
So let me ask y'all, like personally, from what you guys know from playing in the league, do people's careers end more because they lose skill sets or something happens to them and they're like, ooh, that injury never got better and this is the reason I can't play? Case in point, like with you two, did you have an injury where it was like, yeah, this is kind of not getting better and it's limiting my ability to play at this certain
that
level?
happens. Yeah. That happens probably to the majority of players, to where they suffer some type of injury well, first of all, depending on where you are, if you was like talented and you suffer some type of injury, you do lose a step. You do. And depending on what it is, like if it's an Achilles or something like that, some people never.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you said yours was a hip.
I had a sports hernia when I was in college, and it was on my right side, and now to this day, my right side is more tight than my left side. So that's why when I played corner, I always preferred to be on the left side.
And yours was a concussion, am I correct?
No,
Migraines?
I mean, I had the white corner syndrome.
Yeah, okay.
And then some injuries on top of that.
Like, yeah, you can't, if you got the white corner syndrome and you got injuries, it's hard to come back from that because they're like,
can't play.
They're like, hey man, we already was taking a chance on you already with the white corner syndrome, but plus you can't, like, we feel like you can't run as good.
They making a comeback, but y'all listen, y'all got y'all.
I wish I was coming out now.
You'd be great. Cooper DeJean got y'all lit.
I'd have been a viral sensation.
Robert Blankenship,
They
Cooper
be showing
DeJean.
no, Adam Archuleta was, I think, the first poster child, like, because
he was because he was like doing these crazy workouts, freak athlete, all these things.
He was the first dude I ever seen doing plyometrics, like doing quick twitch stuff. And I'm like, man, this dude is a monster. He dunked in the basket.
Oh, yeah. Archuleta.
He was
what a name, boy.
He was that guy.
What a player he was, man.
I will say this: I've had like multiple neck injuries. I got 3 herniated discs that's not operable, right? And I just refused to get a neck fusion. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just not going to do it. Like, I'll just deal with the consequences.
We would need a lot more cameras in here.
Yeah, I'm going to be like this. You're going to have to be, G. Bush going to be like, is this camera 3? Yeah, let me talk to camera. Arms don't be working. Your breathing is different. And I'm going to tell you this.
You sound like Ace Boogie.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm breathing different. I'm breathing different. Because, you got C1, 2, 3, 4. There's a reason why you got different people where, like, if you unfortunately become paralyzed, certain vertebrae deal with, in certain parts of your spine, deal with certain motor functions, and one of them is your involuntary functions when it talks about breathing. But with JOK, and I don't know his prognosis, and like I said, I was really scared for him when I saw it happen. It hit me like, you don't know. It don't look like that's some injury that you just wake up from and walk around and say, okay, I got a stinger and come back. Mm-hmm. It's different. He's gonna have to tackle people for a living. So prayers to JOK, but for selfish reasons, we're thinking about a team next year, which is scary, without one of your best linemen, one of your best defensive ends, and one of your best playmakers in JOK. And that's how you could have a Browns defense that go from devastating to like, we don't know.